On my 21st birthday, I was doing acid with my girlfriend at the time, who was 14 or 15 years older than me. She was in her mid-30s. Her name was Patty Oldenburg. We're still friends. She's a great person. And she'd made me dinner and a cake and was giving me presents. It was just the two of us. And we were doing acid. And she looked at me and said, "You know, you're only 21 once." And that was just like, gong. I suddenly felt this reality of every moment only happens that moment and then it's gone. I would only have one 21st birthday. That's still kind of shocking and terrifying. I think I started crying, which is so but yeah, it's interesting though, you know, I mean, to see what this stage where you start being aware that you're closer to death than you are to birth. I mean, that's another thing I think that makes older faces seem dull. It's not just about the classic look of beauty thing. It's because they don't have the potential anymore. Youth means there's all this unlimited potential, which is why high school reunions are so depressing. It's not because everybody's lives turned out so horribly, though it's kind of surprising how many people do get bitter, but but it's because in high school you don't really have a life. I mean, you're unlimited potential, and anything that happens later is bound to be disappointing from a certain point of view, because compared to high school, because in high school everything was possible. When you get to be around my age, that potential has been radically reduced. There's only so much more I can do, and who I am, it's not a potential anymore. It's a existing case, and that's dull. But there's a good side too. I mean, there's lots of good sides. I mean, you know, I mean, you understand a lot more. But there's one huge good side. I've been reading Proust, and I'm working on like a kind of book of memories, which I say instead of saying memoir, because memoir sounds so corny. Not that book of memories isn't kind of pompous and pretentious in its own way. Now I'm calling it a quasi-memoir. Yeah, it's an autobiography, but about Proust. Yeah. Okay. The experience that is the basis for his 3,000-page book is the class of experience where a person is doing something in the present. You know, a person is having an experience now that all of a sudden transports that person back to distant past, when he had or she had an exactly similar experience, the exact same sensory experience, so that you're flooded with the moment in the past while you're also having all your sensations that are taking place in the present. It's like a, you know, sort of stereo experience that enables you to have your whole life all at once, to sort of step outside of time, and rather than be limited to the isolated prison of the present where you're sort of blind to the reality of who you are. All of a sudden you're given your whole self in this timeless way. It's one of the great experiences of life, and it's only possible if you reach a certain age. It's not likely to happen in your 20s. It's not likely to happen in your 30s. It gets more likely maybe up into your 40s, and I think I'm probably at about the prime age to have that experience. So that's an advantage of of getting older. Another one is having lived long enough to have seen not just the kind of rhythms of life, which is a very interesting thing to see how, you know, when you're young, you think the world is as it is, as you see it and you perceive it and you grasp it. You think that's how it is. As you have to have lived for a few decades to see that that's not how it is. Things are always changing, and on a more personal level, you learn what you're suited for, which is a great thing to learn. It brings a kind of it brings you a kind of peace of mind that is such a relief, you know, which is not like it's not complacency. It's great to see how the way that you think things are when you're young isn't definitive. I mean, it's not even that it's black and negative. It's just that nothing is ever definitive. Things are always changing.